channel where we talk about all things occult, magical, paranormal, and forbidden. I want you to like and subscribe so that you can get fully plugged into the energetic current that we are opening today and will continue to open as I release more content. I've been working a lot with Azazel this year primarily, and Azazel's right-hand man, Andharatu, who is one of the nethers beneath Azazel. And one of the things that Andharatu has been teaching me is the deeper power of silence. Silence is a weapon. Something I've learned about these infernals is, despite what popular belief might be, they are not here to grant our every wish. They're not here to serve as our attack dogs. They're here as teachers and to aid us in our own evolution, our own ascent. And so sometimes they can use the actions we take as catalyst for our own evolution. They're not here to hand you everything. Because if you were handed everything, then you wouldn't actually evolve. And yeah, they'll grant your desires and things like that if there is an evolutionary teaching to it. One of the things that I've been learning is the power of silence, the weapon of silence. I had someone message me a few weeks ago and share a dream with me. Now, I never take these dreams too literally. I usually take them with a grain of salt. I've had a lot of people share what they interpret as warning dreams or what have you. I'm more a believer that we are the creator of our own universe. So when someone else shares some sort of a warning dream with me, I don't look too deeply into it. It may be something to bring me to awareness or to remember to keep my discipline up. But I don't believe that somebody can predict that bad things are going to happen to me or to my family. That's just not something that is a part of my reality. But someone shared a dream with me that I did find interesting. Every now and then, someone will come along and something will stick out, and it's actually useful. Someone had a dream. I can't remember the details of it, but essentially they were looking for me because they had a message for me, which was keep silent and keep aware. Very Gandalf-esque. And when they found me, they went to share this message with me, and I disappeared. And in my place, a scythe appeared. A weapon. A tool of harvesting. And from the scythe, there was a human jaw hanging. And the scythe began to vibrate. And it was as if it was absorbing energy. And then I reappeared in the dream. And I explained that the scythe is gathering energy, absorbing energy, preparing to be used. And I interpreted this dream as a blueprint on how to utilize, how to weaponize silence, because silence is power. I recently had a discussion with Azazel and Antharatu, which I uploaded onto my Patreon channel, where I was channeling their messages in real time. And as I was speaking to Anharatu, he was telling me more about silence. And he explained to me that silence is not the opposite of sound. That silence is actually the inverse of sound. Now, that really confused me in the moment. So I thought, what the hell does that mean, and how is that useful? And then I started thinking about it, and I started to see a picture, see what happens when there's sound. It emits from a source. Someone or something originates the sound, and it moves outward as sound waves. And I thought that was interesting, because it's energy moving outward and possibly affecting the things around it. Sometimes causing chaos, sometimes peace. Words are sound, words are being cast, words can influence thoughts, minds, emotions, and all of that. Silence, however, is the inverse of that. So, inverse doesn't mean it does all the opposites of these things. It means that when you are silent, and this is multi-layered here, when you remain silent, right? Let's say you get into legal trouble or what have you. They always tell you have the right to remain silent. Most people don't. They speak and they speak and they speak. Any attorney will tell you to shut the fuck up. Because the more you speak, the more you damn yourself. When you are silent, they have nothing to go off of. You become more like a cloud, like vapor. This person could be guilty, but they could be innocent, but we have nothing. They haven't spoken yet, so we can't actually make a decision. And people who stay silent in certain situations, well, they're more likely to get off scot-free. So in any case, let's say you are in an argument with somebody. The more you speak, the more likely it is for you to slip up and say something stupid, or you're going to escalate the situation worse and worse. And this could eventually escalate to the point where it is causing more problems for yourself. When you remain silent, there's nothing to actually escalate. The other party can escalate more and more. But they're on a hamster wheel running in place. And eventually they just start to make themselves look foolish. They may feel like they've won the argument or what have you, but you still haven't lost. On a deeper level, the power of silence, when you're able to silence your mind. This is one of the things that I see as one of the 3 pillars of stability for manifestation. When you silence your mind, all of your thoughts, they quiet, they recede. And your spirit mind begins to open and awaken. So all of the universal knowledge can now channel through your mind. The next step that you should take will likely come to you. You can hear the voices from the other side. But even more than that, all of the problems in your life, you get a God's eye view on these problems. You connect with your higher self, your God self. So all of the fears, the stress, the worries, they are all self-made. They are born in the amygdala, that gland in the back of your neck that tells you a story. Something bad is about to happen. I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. This is super stressful. I can't get anything done because my kids are running all over the house like crazy. Or, my relationship is bad, and whatever it is. I don't like my career. Things aren't going my way. Things are going wrong. When you quiet all of this noise, that's what it is. It's just noise. It's these little voices, little parts of your story that's telling you these things. And maybe they're true, maybe they're not. But when you can take your God form and look at these things objectively, maybe in some situations, if things aren't going your way, maybe you're not seeing the actual solution, or maybe you're inventing a problem in your head. Maybe you're making it a bigger deal than what it actually is. Let's say you believe that you're being haunted and cursed by malevolent spirits all over the place, but really it's just your own fear. You think you have a bunch of enemies cursing you, but in reality, it's just your own fear. And maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe you've angered somebody, you've wronged somebody, a sorcerer, to the point where they may just be cursing you. And that has validity. Even then, look at the evidence of what a curse entails. The nightmares, the dark energy that's all around you, sleep paralysis, bad luck. Not a day of bad luck, but unusually bad luck. That lasts maybe a few weeks. And I mean everything is going wrong. It's Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. I've seen many people in situations where rather than silence, they choose noise. And not all the time, but a lot of the time, it comes back to haunt them. It's more detrimental. It causes more chaos in their lives. If given a choice between noise and silence, silence is never the wrong weapon. When you can go into a state of silence, like I mentioned, you begin to become the harvester. Energy is always in motion, and when you are no longer putting energy out, giving energy away, you begin to absorb energy into yourself. When you silence the mind, silence your voice, quiet your spirit, you begin to pull energy inward. I have a lot of people who come to me telling me that they have people using energetic vampirism on them, or vampiric magic. I would say, I would ask the question, why are you giving them your energy? Quiet yourself and pull that energy back. Start to take their energy. If you have an enemy that is slandering you or talking badly about you or what have you, I have a lot of Christians and haters and other occultists who comment on my content, and they share a lot of rude comments or hateful things. I don't pay them any mind. They are giving me their free energy. I'm siphoning from them when they do this. If someone can take the time out of their day, their free time, to give you energy, it's a good indicator that you are doing more than they are. You are closer to your purpose and alignment than they are. Why allow them to become a rock in your shoe when you can use them as subjects of your worship? These demons, angels, gods, spirits of the dead, all of these beings that we work with, especially on the left-hand path, or the path of black magic. Like I said, they are teachers of evolution. They are catalysts for evolution. They want to see you ascend. They want to see you evolve. As we evolve as a species, so too are they able to evolve. And we see this evident. There's so many more people speaking their names today in the information age than there were thousands of years ago. There's a lot of people I notice who work with these beings or claim to work with these beings, and there isn't much fruit to show. And what I mean by that is, I'm not talking about riches and magical powers and all of that. Because there's a lot of magicians I respect and I follow who've been doing this for 40 plus years, 50 years even. And they don't have earthly wealth. They're not out here cursing people or demonstrating magical powers. But you can tell that they are highly evolved. Then there are other people who claim to work with these beings, and there's nothing to show for it. No evolution. They still act like they are in middle school, always picking fights with everyone, hating on others, slandering others constantly. It's not that they aren't working with these beings. I think they are, but these beings have a different use for them. I think these beings might use them as catalyst for people who are more on their purpose, or they could be using them as an energy harvest. I don't know for sure. Or they could just be teaching them the harsh road to evolution. All roads to evolution are harsh, but when you're stupid, I think it's even harsher. I get a lot of questions about paranormal activity in my temple or in my life as I work with these beings as I conduct these rituals and all of that. There are so many things that happen, and if I'm not paying attention, I usually miss them. Everything from the candles flickering and the incense being moved on its own accord. Things will fall off of shelves in the temple. I've heard knocks on the walls. Then things happen outside of ritual through the rest of the house, like footsteps, and I've heard audible voices. I've woken up to the sound of a baby crying. There's no babies around here. I've heard weird animal noises, all sorts of things. And people ask me, well, don't you banish all of these spirits? Don't you get rid of all of this? And no. Why would I invite them into my home to teach me their teachings and to give me their power and to bring blessings into my life? And as soon as the ritual is over, okay, you got to get the fuck out. To me, that's a spit in the face. And on a deeper level, that's an admission that you are fearful. I'm not fearful of these things. I want the paranormal activity. I want them to impose themselves in my life so that they can help to sculpt my life. How could I say, you're allowed to come in here, but you can't come any further than this magic circle, or you can't come any... No, I don't do that. Maybe it's for other people, and I think it may be a great place to start. I think we have an innate fear of these things due to the society we live in, religious conditioning, and all of that. And I will say that not every spirit you invite, not every spirit from the Goetia or that are written in grimoires, they're not here just to be friendly teddy bears. They will fuck with you. They will make you fearful. Some of them can blow up your life. I've had so much paranormal activity happen, from waking up in my bed and having something straddling my pelvis. I could feel flesh there, I could feel skin there, and I was so caught off guard by it. I woke up and it felt very intimate, but I wasn't having it. I just wanted to sleep. And I took my arm and impulsively swept it off of me. And there was weight to it. I could feel myself pushing a body off of me. And then the body vanished. I could just barely make something out there, but it was a dark room. I've had hands grab my hands during ritual. I've felt cold winds rushing through. They're usually around my feet and my legs, where I feel the wind. When I'm conducting ritual for clients, I've had them report very strange activity during ritual sometimes. I've had people tell me they suddenly got hot and sweaty, and to the point where they had to go take a shower after the ritual before they could even go to sleep. I've had people tell me that there was a thick presence in their house as I performed the ritual, and even days or weeks afterward. These things are very real. People today like to reduce it all to psychological and psychodrama. That ritual is a way to trick your brain into aligning with your desires. And there's some truth to that, but there's also things that happen that are very much paranormal that cannot be reduced to psychology. And I'll say that if you choose to reduce it to psychology, that's all you'll ever see. That's all you'll ever get out of it. But if you're open to it being magical, to it being paranormal, to these demons, these gods, these angels, these spirits, if you're open to them being real, very real, they will show themselves to you in profound ways. People ask me, well, how can I have more actual paranormal in the flesh experiences? And I'll say, look for it. Look for it in the small things. Look for the candles flickering. Look for the incense smoke moving without your assistance. Because when we ignore those things and we're simply looking for shadow figures or waiting for the big things, poltergeist activity to happen and things like that, it's like we're reaching too far. And it would benefit you to take a step back. Look for the little things first, and it will grow. I'm co-hosting a magical retreat this October in France. And with my good friend Matthew, we're gathering about 10 people or so, and we're going to be staying in a castle, a really old castle, for 4 days, 3 nights. It's a luxury castle, too. People have their own bedrooms, their own private chambers, and we're going to be conducting a lot of these rituals, calling forth these spirits to gain their knowledge and their power. And we're going to be practicing a lot of spells, casting of spells, and we're going to be learning a lot more about alchemical processes and how to really work with these energies. I have no doubt it's going to be transformational for everybody who shows up, no matter how experienced they are or inexperienced. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm excited. I've never got to share what I know, what I've learned in person with anybody. There's been a few people that I know in real life that they want to know how I do things, and that's all I can share is how I've learned it and my experiences. I don't have seminars. I don't consider myself a teacher or a guru or I'm none of these things. I'm just a normal guy who's tried things, who's failed a lot of things, and I just share what works for me. And maybe it works for others, and most of the time it does. Maybe it doesn't. And usually when it doesn't, it's people that are in their own way about it, or they overthink it. So if that's something you'd be interested in, it's going to be October 15th through the 19th in Normandy, France. So if you live in the United States, you'll have to get a passport. If you're traveling with someone, I think our tickets are like not a 2-for-1, but 2 tickets are cheaper to buy than 1 single ticket if you were sharing a bedroom with somebody. So if you want to bring a friend or a spouse, you're more than welcome to. It's going to be a great time. I think we're all going to learn a lot, and my goal is for everyone there to have a completely supernatural, life-changing experience. And I feel like once you stare the supernatural in the face, your life is forever changed. When you witness the magic in real time, in a tangible way, there's no going back from that. And that's what I want people to be able to experience. So I'm going to put the link in the description if you are interested in that. And for those who are interested in what I have gathered and the information I do know, how I do the things that I do, how I prepare rituals, how I cast spells, I have a lot. I have well over 100 posts. I think I'm getting closer to 200 posts of different spell tutorials and rituals and teachings and how to do things. Just the way that I learn them and how I implement them. And I try to simplify it without all the fluff and the bells and whistles. People often tell me, I love the way you explain things. You make it so much easier to understand. That's because I have to read it or learn it, figure it out, and interpret it in a way that my mind can grasp it. So some things are things that I've gathered from books and reinterpreted it. Some things are things that I've just gathered myself just through trial and error and experiences. So if you want to go deeper, join my Patreon. Every month I conduct a group ritual that focuses on something different. So we are always changing our goals up or adding something that aligns with our goals on an individual level. Last month we evoked the fire god to bind our enemies and dispatch our enemies. And so this month, we're right here at the tail end of the month. We are going to be calling on Asmodeus, not to invigorate sexual passion or lust. That's one of the most common things that people call on Asmodeus for, but I want to call on Asmodeus for falling in love with yourself and gaining a lust for life. And the power in that is, as you love yourself, the more in love with yourself you fall, the more others will match that love. The more others around you, whether in personal relationships or friendships or in business, they will match that frequency. And in turn, you are going to gain a passion, a lust for life. This is creative flow. This is that Christmas morning feeling when you wake up. And there's a lot of power in this. Imagine what you could accomplish if you were wholeheartedly, unconditionally in love with yourself. And that's what I want to aim to do in this upcoming group rite, which is available only on my top tier, which is called the Inner Temple of Patreon. So click the link in my description and it'll take you right there if that's something you'd be interested in. Or check out one of the other tiers where you'll have access to several of my teachings and things like that. Anyway, that's all for today. I appreciate you for being here. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. And be sure to put something in the comments to boost this channel more in the algorithm so that I can get more eyes on it and we can empower this channel. Anyway, I appreciate you and I will see you next time.